I am Araceli, a wealth advisor, real estate investor in the United States and Canada, and creator of Wealthy Women in Real Estate. Every week, I meet with Colette, a real estate broker and a real estate investor in Canada. We come together to talk about all things real estate investing and how to increase your wealth. Join us. And welcome, everyone. This is Araceli, and today I am with my friend Colette. And Colette, can you introduce yourself for those who don't know you?
My name is Colette Raba. I am a residential real estate broker in the GTA. And Araceli and I love to do the show because we like talking about investment properties. We like talking about real estate. We also talk about finance and how it all works together. So welcome to the show. And Araceli, what are we talking about today? Or you introduce yourself.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about something, the reason that obviously Colette and I meet every week is because we love talking about real estate. And today we're going to have the modern home trends for 2022 and how the global pandemic will change our homes forever. So there's a few things that Colette is going to talk to us about it today, and I'm very excited to find out what it is.
Yeah, so I did a little
Go ahead,
presentation.
Colette. I know that you have a presentation, so I'm just going to talk through because we are going to be also in the podcast with this. So I'll walk through what it is that you're showing.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, and I'll try and be as descriptive as I can as well, so people that are listening can see what the heck we're talking about.
Absolutely. But if not, then just remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Everything will be there if you want to see the pretty pictures.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's part of the whole thing of actually watching the show, because the pictures do speak 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So why we wanted to start this year off was because, yes, we're still in the pandemic. Boo.
I know.
We want to be positive, and if you are lucky enough not just to own a home, but to live in a home and not a tent, these modern home trends might actually help you be more comfortable. And also, looking at the future of a resale kind of thing, where you actually want to do some changes and renovate while you live there, for you to not just enjoy it, but also to raise the value of your home. So let's get started, shall we?
Yeah, go ahead.
So modern trends. And this is the thing too that I've seen with my buyers as well. So it's not just things that, keeping our ear to the ground, but also real life things that people really like to see when they buy or when they renovate. And I'm also very much in touch with a lot of renovators and a lot of contractors because of what I do every day. And also landlords, because landlords want to renovate for their tenants, and to hear what they are saying, what the tenants are saying, what they really want. This is not like, a basement apartment kind of reno. This is, good tenants, good people who want to they want to renovate their house for rent. So, and this is what people are looking for. So we're going to start off with, no big surprise here, outdoor living spaces or living rooms. So it's not your typical living room. That's why it's in quotes. When I say living room, I mean living spaces. So to extend your living area, and how do you do it? So personally speaking, I have a porch that has a roof on it, for example, and that way I can barbecue all year. I can sit out longer than, obviously I'm not sitting out in the dead of winter, but I could if I really wanted to, right? There's other things that are really becoming popular now. For the last 2 years, I haven't heard of any pool manufacturing or the pool installers that aren't busy for the next 3 years. They're booked up into the next 3 years. So the need for private outdoor entertaining space is at an all-time popularity. And obviously it comes at the premium these days because of our not favorite saying, which is, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, everything touches money.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
So what is it?
Yes, but yeah, you're right. It does touch everything does touch money, but pools and it's supply chain issues is the thing that I don't want to talk about because that's part of the problem. Why it takes so long to get a pool or a hot tub is because of this supply chain issue
Of
that things
course.
are things are backed up, and what happens is things get expensive.
Yeah,
So,
now
you know,
we just need to do a little bit more planning and expect a little delay because everybody's having the same idea. They want to have some entertainment in the backyard, and obviously anything to do with getting a pool or a hot tub or a shed, anything that has to be done outside, it takes just a little bit longer because obviously contractors now are having more demand for this
right.
type of renovations or additions,
Well,
and
and then
therefore it
restrictions.
takes longer.
Yeah, and then restrictions too, with contractors actually feeling comfortable to come into somebody's private space, especially, if you're sharing the air, you're still living through renovation. So that's why I really like to start with the outdoor living room because you're in the fresh air. You are, what we know now about COVID, entertaining outside. So the pictures I have up are of a pool, of a screened in porch, which is absolutely gorgeous. I wish I had that. Outdoor fireplaces are very, very popular now. Barbecues, when they do, sorry, the fire with the pizza oven.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
love those ones. Yeah.
yeah, it's all on my wish list. But also in the GTA in the Toronto area, they've opened up the city has said you're allowed to renovate your laneway garage to make it into a living space. So that is very popular these days to find a contractor that will actually do it. That's a whole other story. But also just things like gazebos and screened in porches and she sheds and the next slide actually has a picture of an office shed or bunkies for guests so they don't sleep in the house. So these are all things that people are because we're also not traveling as much. So we need to have some kind of recreational area in our
Mhm.
own,
Absolutely.
square feet,
But
right?
one thing that I want to make also a point on the outside space is that you're also adding value to your property.
Of
It's
course.
not only obviously the entertainment that you can get out of it, but if you have thought about it for a while, I think this is a good time to do it because you have somewhere to be. Plus, you're also adding value to your home.
Of course. And that's what buyers are actually looking for, especially if you have kids. They want trampolines, if you can't afford a pool, or just a little above ground pool. Or look at the photo that I have is of kids sitting in front of the fireplace, the
Yeah.
the outside fireplace. So things like that, just to imagine how we can expand our living spaces is what I'm crazy about it too. Like this is something that that really resonates with me. So the next thing, do you want to take this one? This is multi-use rooms.
Yeah, so multi-use rooms. Now this is becoming so popular because a lot of us are working at home. And also we have kids that are learning at home as well. So you need to have all of these rooms adapted to different uses. So we have the office that could become a bedroom or a workout space, an office slash dining room, or
Yeah.
kitchen, which is, some spaces that are open, then it's all together. And you have to do a lot of main floor conversions. I see in one of the pictures here, we have a Murphy bed that it comes
Yes.
out.
Oh,
Those, I
don't you
love
love
those.
that? Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And the same, you have maybe a spare room that you're using as an office.
Yeah.
So we have a outdoor shed. Like in the summertime, I love to go outside and just work outside. You get a
Yeah.
little sun, maybe a little bit of breeze, and you're outside. So that
Well, and
is,
and that the photos don't really show you everything. So that shed, that outdoor shed, is actually it's got hydro and it has a treadmill up against the wall there. So even, going back to the first one with your outdoor space, if you really don't have space for an office inside your house, you don't want to convert one of the rooms, then you know what? If you might have space for an outdoor shed, or it doesn't have to be huge, I think you can go up to, correct me if I'm wrong, most municipalities, you can put an 8 by 10 shed or 8 by 10 kind of, room, if you want to call it that, without a permit. So if you can get away with that and not get a permit, and have something pre-built for you that's high enough, ceiling height wise, those, we're not talking about those little sheds that you get from Canadian Tire,
Yeah.
because their height's just not there. So we're talking about professional, or those what do you call those? The shipping containers. Those are so popular these
Well,
days.
if you do have enough space in your backyard, if you have a smaller backyard, you might obviously have to
Yeah,
adapt to it. But if you do have a large enough one to have either a container, a shipping container is pretty big, right?
yeah, yeah,
Also check, but before you do anything, you have to check with your city, municipality, everything to see what is allowed, because
yes, of course.
everything varies by city. So just that's the idea. You do have to do your due diligence before you actually go out do it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but this is
Okay, and so the next thing, which I think is really the kicker here, because technology is changing so rapidly, and it's really quite exciting when you can do things without having, like, for example, security is a big deal for me because
yeah,
I have income properties. I want to know when nobody's there what's going on in the property. I'm not next door. I can't just look out my window and see it. So the Ring is the doorbell that you see the photo of right now, which I absolutely love it. Do you know about that?
uh, what the camera that you have in the ringer? Yeah,
Yeah.
those
So
are
yep,
absolutely really nice. So
incredible. So it's a doorbell, but you hook it up and you have an app, and then you can actually go to your phone and look to see what's going on right outside, any time of the day, any time of the night. So it's fantastic. If somebody comes to your door and rings the bell, you can actually speak to them.
yeah,
So it's like this personal concierge, like you are your own concierge, obviously, but they don't know if you're home and you're just in the bathroom, or whatever excuse you want to say. Oh, I'm taking care of the baby. Sorry, I can't come to the
yeah.
door. So, and also there are other things like window blinds, which I didn't even know about, that you can program on your phone. And the any apps that control security system, the window blinds, your lights,
Yep.
the voice activation. Do you have Alexa, or do you have a Siri?
You could do with either one of them, right? I personally have a Nest thermostat, and I can control it directly on my phone. So if I'm, upstairs, I can
Yeah,
just go and raise the temperature or lower the temperature, whatever it is that you want. You can also set up a schedules if you're not home, if you're going to be away for a couple of days. There's really no need for you to have an extra, temperature in the house that you don't need. And of course, you can save a little bit of, you know, uh,
oh yeah, all these smart
all the
appliances
smart
are to save, yeah,
appliances.
really to save energy, so really, and to think that you can, like you said, you can control the temperature inside the house. Also, you can check on what the temperature is. So let's say your furnace fails, knock on wood, we don't want to do that, but you don't want your pipes to freeze then. So if you're away for a couple weeks and you want to just double check to see what the temperature is in your house, this is fantastic before you call anybody in. So this is how I actually run my Airbnb. I have a keyless entry, which I check, and I can unlock from my phone if I really need to. So if I ever need to let a property manager in, or
Yeah.
if any of the guests have a problem getting in, I can unlock it with my phone. There's no problem. They walk in, they can see everything, they can
Yeah.
control the lights with their, not that they want to download the app, but this
That
is
is a
something that
huge
I can
time
check on.
saver, especially because your property is not right next to you. It's a
Yeah.
little bit farther away. And the same if you're an investor that has a property that is a little farther away than, maybe 10-minute drive, then you may want to have something like this. So
It's
this is something
control.
great.
it's control, and it makes me feel much more confident that everything is okay. I don't have to guess. I have cameras on the property as well. They're just outside. If I ever have any issue, I see the bunnies running by, I see the little critters running by, and thank God that's it. Like nothing else happens. But it's peace of mind. And how much is that worth to you? So some of these things can be expensive, but you know what? Well worth it. Well worth it. So the next thing, so the ideas, so this is the other thing too, that I've done this myself because I do have a home that has 3 stories, that I do have children, that I do want to have a little income coming in. So when you have the availability of buying a home and you don't know what your future is going to hold, I don't know where I'm going to be, let's say in even 5 years or 10 years.
Mhm.
But when I go to spend the money to renovate my property, so let's say I don't necessarily want a basement apartment. This is a very good example. I don't necessarily want a basement apartment right now, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to renovate my basement apartment with a stove plug. Let's say just a simple thing like that, to make sure that I have a separate entrance, to make sure that I can do all these things now. So if I ever need to sell, I can use it as a selling feature. Or if one of my children wants to move down there, they have their autonomy, it's all separated. I can put a small kitchen in there, no problem. So this is actually what I did 10 years ago. So I thought ahead a little bit. So this is really about thinking ahead. If you can't imagine what your life will be, and you can say, oh, I'm just going to sell the house anyway, then do it anyway, because the property value will go up if you think about it now and the future use or the future buyers that may buy your property. So things like basement apartment, if you want to turn it into a triplex or a duplex. And the photo I have here is actually a house that was newly built, and it's a side-by-side semi-detached, or what we call a duplex.
Yeah, it looks very modern. And I
Yeah.
can tell you something that this actually, because you know that I invest in the US, and a
Yes.
lot of the properties that I've seen there, this was built quite a long time ago, and they were side by side duplexes. I
Yeah.
think that's a brilliant idea because it's kind of like having a semi-detached in one property. So
Exactly. So if you have, and especially for children, we always talk about our children not being able to afford any real estate down the road, things like that. So I actually know someone currently who's building a duplex, and the way that and why they're doing it is not for their children, but for their aging parents. So they're doing that to be close to them, but also you'll still have your autonomy. You still have that freedom of having your own space, and you can decorate and you can do whatever you want by yourself. But in the future, we're talking about our sandwich generation here. Once
yeah.
again, we use that term. So even if we have something that we can convert our homes now into a multi-unit house, I really don't need a ton of space as I get older. I can absolutely renovate my 3-story home, not just with the basement apartment, but I can also renovate my 2 stories into separate units. So if I choose to do that and age in place, and that's going to be another show, which I'm really excited about, but that's, down the road. So this is the thing. When you're upgrading, or if you have the money now to spend on your home, there's always a HELOC. There's always other ways. If you invest with Araceli, you start saving your money now down the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's all about time planning and long-term planning. I think that what I want to say here is think about what is happening today. Did you ever imagine that we were going to go to a pandemic and everybody was going to be at home? And
no,
nobody really predicted this. But at the same time, even if it didn't happen, as a real estate investor, or if you want to become a real estate investor, always look for what other use can it be in this
right.
property. how
Yeah,
how can I convert it easily, even if you
yes,
already use it as a single family home? How accessible it is, like having a door to go into the basement, even though you don't have a renter right now, that you
sure.
don't know how this situation is going to change in the future. The really good example that Colette just put in, like if you have an older child that wants to move in, Sometimes, even older uh, uh, children that maybe they got divorced and now they need to
Right.
restart. So
Oh
now
yeah.
they want to have a place to
Let's not
live.
talk about that.
It's true, right? So
Yeah, yeah, not something that we really want to, entertain. But yeah, of course, that always happens. And the other thing too is there are some really not sexy renovations that you should really consider if you're renovating anyway. Things like upgrading insulation and your windows and putting in new garage doors, especially for
yeah,
insulating garage doors are very, very important. And it will bring you back money when you go to sell. So these things too, let's say even a future elevator. So that's something my parents did years and years ago. They kept a closet. The way they built the closet was large enough to have an elevator, a single person elevator put in later if they want to age in place. So things like this, okay, maybe not everybody has the money to do that, but at least it's possible. And the let's say just to put an electrical outlet there to plug something in, like one of those chair lifts or things like that.
yeah,
So try and think ahead a little bit, and this is why we hire professional architects and designers, so you can talk about it with them to say, listen, I have no idea what the future is going to hold. What can I do? And there's something in the design world called universal design as well. So things that people, the one thing that makes me crazy, for example, is the knob on my toaster oven. It's not a lever. It's actually when my hands are slippery, when I have, a little bit of water or grease on my hands, it's very hard to turn. If somebody has arthritis in their hands, it's very hard to turn a doorknob, but if it's a lever, that's what universal
yeah,
design is. So for children, for older people, people who have not great mobility, that's what universal design is. That's a term we can probably use in one of our term shows. But
yeah,
anyway, so things like better lighting, things like to go back to the techie stuff, to have lights turned on by voice activation. So all these things, think about it now. And of course, we all know technology is going to get, it's going to change, it's going to get better even. But how, we don't know. So put that aside for now. But if you can do things, like the upgrading your electrical panel, because we're all going to have electric cars in the future.
yeah. That's
So
it.
yeah, so we need 200 amp panels, let's say.
For sure.
How do we know all this? We don't, but we're get if we talk to an architect or you talk to your professionals, and they'll be able to help you and guide you. And really, it makes a lot of sense to do these things now. So in the future, you won't have to worry about it, that you put these things in place and you won't have to rip up your ceiling or floors or,
Yeah, and remember, this is good if you are actually building a house from the ground up. But what if
yes,
you're buying a resale, right? So
yes,
try to look for places that you can upgrade. Sometimes it's hard if you're not a real estate investor, but try to imagine how can you convert rooms, maybe extend them, maybe open rooms, maybe add in a bathroom, something like that, that it could be easily converted. Some
hey,
houses are not designed that way. So
of course. And you know who can help you with that? If you hire a good realtor that
that's right.
has a
That's
design
correct.
background, that has a reno background, that can see these things, like myself.
That's right.
Sorry to
So
toot
that's what
my
I always, when I recommend someone, or if you're in your area, I don't know exactly where you're
of course,
listening
yeah.
from, but uh, look, if you're going to become a real estate investor, if that is in your radar, then try to look for people or for realtors that are also real estate investors. Because I would say 90%, I don't know about that, Colette, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but about 90% of realtors are not investors themselves. They're just sales professionals,
Yeah, I
but
don't know
they're
what
not
the statistic
investors, and
is.
investors is completely different. So if you can have that combination, just like Colette is, she's an investor and she's also a realtor, you will have that double benefit because the eyes of an investor are completely different, and she will be able to navigate with you for what the purpose that you like
It's a
to accomplish.
I'm sorry, it's a triple threat because I also have a renovation background. So I've done
Wow,
my
even
own,
better. Wow, that
and
is like
yeah,
super wow, right?
it's a no-brainer. Come
Because,
on.
well,
Yeah,
I just mentioned the two
of
because
course.
not
That
all
alone.
investors, realtors, and also have a construction or a renovation background. So you
Yeah.
are like a super wow, super, super, super realtor.
Thank you. Yes, I'm a triple threat.
Yeah.
But that's, yes, but this is the thing. I really don't know what the statistic is, but when you do hire a realtor, these are questions that you do want to ask because any resale home, listen, it doesn't matter how old it is or how new it is, you're always going to want to put your own personal touch on it and think about if you do find a fixer-upper and you do want to, or needs renovation anyway, now's the perfect time to put those little extras in, and it's not going to cost you a fortune like if you do it in the future. So one thing at a time, I get that. And if you have a budget, you have to say, okay, how much is it going to cost for me? I'm getting the electrician anyway. How much is it going to cost for me to upgrade the panel? Or how much is it going to cost to put a stove plug in, the basement, and where would it go for future use? It's really, usually they're covered by furniture anyway, if you put a sofa or something. So these all non-invasive things that to do for the future will give you a higher return when you go sell it. Or it'll give you options of what to do with the home and you don't want to sell it. If you want to age in place. These are all things that, I'm thinking about my retirement in 10 years from now or whatever, 15 years from now. What's going to happen to my house? Do my kids actually want to live here? Are they going to take off? And, so all these things. I made a mistake in my own property. So I have for an example. The next thing that I'm going to do, I have 3 stories. I have a powder room on my main floor. If I want to convert the main floor and the upstairs, I need to have some kind of a shower
Yeah.
on the main floor, and I need some kind of a kitchen on the top floor if
Yeah.
I want to take them apart and do apartments. So things like that, if I do a renovation between now and whenever, that's something that I have to consider.
But
So,
this is something that you have the space for it, right? In my current place, I
yep,
cannot do any of that. So I
right,
know that I'm going to be here only for a few years, and then I'm going to flip the house and get another property. But I'm
sell it.
always looking for that. How can I convert this? How can I get the biggest buck for my money? And if I can start renting a portion of it in the
Right,
meantime,
right.
then it'll be fantastic. Okay, so
Yeah.
what is the next one?
So, yeah, so that was a great segue to renos for hire resale. So this is what we've already been talking about. So, we always want to upgrade kitchens and bathrooms. That's always a given. But don't overextend. Don't over improve. Because if you spend $50,000 on a kitchen, I can't promise you you're going to make $50,000
Yeah,
on,
that's right.
on top of
And
whatever price
also
that you
don't
bought.
don't wait. I'm gonna tell you, there is one big mistake that I hear all the time that I said people wait until they are ready to sell in order to do the renovation.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why, maybe because of money or because they just want to wait, because maybe they want to get more money out of the property. But I think that if you do it as soon as possible, you get the time to enjoy the new kitchen,
right.
right? And
Yeah,
then take a look and see if there's anything else that you can do to improve what until you're going to be selling, right? Don't do
right.
all the renovations, just 2 months before you're selling, because then you said, oh my God, the house looks so beautiful. Now I don't want to sell it, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And
So
then you
that's the
don't
thing.
get the time to enjoy it as well.
Yes, and that's the thing. So it's kind of a sweet spot. So I wouldn't do it immediately, but if you
Yeah.
know you're going to be selling in the next 5 years, then start doing it. And you don't have to do a huge thing 100%. If you just want to start with replacing your floor, do that first. Or then paint your cabinets. That's all you have. Or just do your lighting. Small things like that while you live there. We should all be doing that because lighting is one of the things, even though it's not on the list right now, but lighting is one of the easiest things that you can swap out, and
Yeah.
it just helps modernize your homes and it gives you that design element that is really, really that really makes a difference for when I go with buyers to see houses. It does. So yeah, so really this is just a little, recap as well. Upgrade your kitchens and bathrooms. find more storage or get, declutter, like more storage slash declutter. We house so much stuff that we really don't need on a daily
Oh
basis.
gosh,
Get
yeah.
rid of it. Donate, please. Donate it. Don't throw it out. Better utilize your outdoor space that we spoke about earlier. Declutter, just fresh paint and lighting. You can do that anytime, and it's very inexpensive to do. Upgrade your R value insulation in your attic. Very, very important for you while you're living there to have a comfortable home. That's very important. Any upgrading your windows, doors, garage doors, we said that earlier, and then your smart tech upgrade. So all these things really will give you a better resale value. So, and I just wanted to end with the fireworks of thank you for watching.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. Well, thank you, Colette. This is actually fantastic, and I hope that the listeners are getting some value. So we will see you next week, Colette.
absolutely. I'm going to stop my share. And then, really, like, this is something that you can always call us. You can always ask us questions. Please ask your questions. We love
Yeah,
to.
please send questions so we can put together a show just for that to answer the question. Okay. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Colette. We'll see ya.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for being here on the show. If you found the information useful, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when new episodes are available. I am posting all the necessary steps for you to start in real estate investing and know how to grow your wealth.